Vanakkam Deva. Nice to be with everyone. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are continuing. Climbing the ladder of consciousness.
Yes, Borinada.
Okay, I think I need to click a button here. Continue. We are up to part 11. Congratulations to us. Starting with a short section. Topic may seem a little unusual, but it fits right in with climbing the ladder of consciousness. Leaving via the highest chakra. Merging with Shiva lesson 354. Many have asked what is meant by leaving through a certain chakra at the point of death. Let's take an example of a person of whom people say his mind is in his butt. They mean his awareness is down at the bottom, so to speak. He is ogling pornography, swearing, angry, self-indulgent all the time. That is the world he would go into if he died in this state of mind. The lower world of selfish self-gratification, where lust is not lust, but a way of life. Oh, we don't want to go there. Or it is sometimes said, she is such a motherly woman, she is all heart, really a perceptive lady. That is where she would go at the moment of death, out through the throat chakra, the universal love chakra, and experience a heaven world beyond expectations, beyond descriptions of any kind. Just as a traveling businessman would go to a hotel where others have come for similar purposes, she would go to a world where everybody is a heart person. In other words, it's like the jewelry shops in a Indian town. They're all in the same street. Whereas in Western countries, they're spread out all over town. So in the inner worlds, people of a like nature are together. That is why you cannot spiritually unfold so much in the inner world, because everybody is the same in each stratum of consciousness. You would have to study and do disciplines to get into the next chakras, but you would never have the lower ones to contend with if you had not been in the lower ones during your physical life. Somebody dies in the states of anger and fear, he goes into the lower worlds of those states of consciousness. And in that realm, there would be hundreds of thousands of people in that same state of consciousness. Whatever is in the mind at that moment, a country, a family, community will have a strong impact on where he goes in the inner world and on the nature of future samskaras, meaning his next life. The thoughts of death are the next samskaras of the astral body. Even if you have the thought, when you're dead, your astral body might just float over your physical body and be dead. Someone would have to revive you and explain to you that you are in your astral body and are as alive as you ever were, but not physically. At death, you leave through a nerve ganglia of consciousness, a chakra. Most people live in about 3 chakras. We've heard that before. And they seesaw back and forth among those states of mind. Each one is a window, and at death it becomes a portal, a doorway. So it is the state of mind at death that gets you into one loka or another within the Shiva loka, Deva loka, Preta loka, or Naraka loka. So the obvious benefit in being in a more refined loka is it's more enjoyable. But the other factor is the training available there is of a more refined nature. The more refined the loka is, you can learn new things. And it's like grades in school. You know, you're ending up in a higher grade if you're in a more refined loka, so you can learn more advanced subjects. Oh, a question. At the point of death, how can you leave through the highest possible chakra? Give you a minute to scratch your heads on this one. The ideal is to leave through the top of the head, through the door of Brahman, to get into the Brahmaloka and not have to come back. The dying person should, at the time of transition, concentrate awareness at the top of his head and willfully draw up into it all the energies from the left and right legs and arms, one after another. Then the energy within the entire torso and all the energies within the spine, from the Muladhara chakra up to the Ajna and Sahasrara. With all the energies gathered at the top of his head, he will leave through the highest chakra he experienced this lifetime. This would put him in a great place in the inner world. So that's the answer to the question. We need to gather all the energies at the top of his head. And then the other point that this is answering is, well, what determines the highest chakra we can exit through? And it's the highest chakra we've experienced in this lifetime. Doesn't matter when. Could have been a long time ago. Maybe at age 18, he reached the Vishuddha chakra for a very short time. He will revive that experience just before death as he is going through the playback of his life, and he will go out through that chakra. But if he is thinking about lower things, he will go out through the lower chakras. If he goes out through a lower chakra or portal, he can, in the inner world, eventually work his way back to the Vishuddha chakra with a lot of help from the Divinic guides and their advisors, but he cannot go beyond it until he gets a new physical body. So if you're not able to exit the time of transition through your highest chakra that you've attained, you can still work your way up. It's just takes a lot more work. The portal is where the physical eyes hook into or go into. Through that portal, you go into that world. This is why a departing person in the spirit of Kaivalya, perfect detachment or aloneness, gazes at pictures of God, gods, and Guru, and sings or listens to hymns sung by loved ones, so that the experience of death truly does take him to the highest plane he experienced in this birth, or even higher if he experienced a higher state in a previous birth. So that's a new one. If you experienced a higher state in a previous birth, you can even exit through that chakra. The astral body carries the chakras. The chakras are in the astral body. The astral body lives in the physical body, and with death comes, it is going to live without the physical body. The same chakras are within it. At the moment of death, you have the opportunity to stabilize yourself in the highest chakra you have experienced in this life. So that relates it to the ladder of consciousness, something you may not have thought about, but we want to try and experience the higher chakras, even if we can't sustain them. Just experience them during festival days or during a really great meditation in a quiet place. And then we have access to that at the time of transition. Next topic is affirmations. We did this one last year, but looking at it today will give us new ideas because we can relate it to using it to get out of any of the negative states of consciousness associated with the lower chakras and even states of consciousness we don't want to be in associated with memory, reason, and will. Oh, this is using the power of affirmation, April, May, June 2004. This publisher's desk was written based on counseling many individuals over the years who lack self-confidence when facing major tasks such as important exams in school or projects at work. Provides a specific technique for improving confidence and manifesting a more successful future. It's got lots of questions for all of you because we did it once last year already. What is a negative and what is a positive self-concept? Let me begin this subject with a question. Do you ever doubt yourself? In other words, do you on a rare occasion now and then or regularly have a negative self-concept? What then exactly is a positive self-concept? It is thinking of ourselves as a worthy individual deserving of a wonderful life and fully capable of achieving it. Unfortunately, many of us reach adulthood with a negative self-concept, feeling that others are better than we are and life has little to offer. Negative self-concept develops when, while growing up, we are criticized constantly or cruelly by our parents and teachers. Having a positive concept about our outer self allows us to identify with our spiritual nature so that we truly feel we are a divine being. Swami Vivekananda liked to stress man's ability to achieve greatness. Whatever you think that you will be. If you think yourself weak, weak you will be. If you think yourself strong, strong you will be. Very simple but powerful statement. Gurudeva often stressed man's inner perfection. Deep inside, we are perfect this very moment, and we have only to discover and live up to this perfection to be whole. We've taken birth in a physical body to grow and evolve into our divine potential. We are inwardly already one with God. Our religion contains the knowledge of how to realize this oneness and not create unwanted experiences along the way. Very nice flowers. Let's look for a moment at the concept of changing our self-concept from a negative one to a positive one. This is an important point. If our physical body becomes weak due to illness, after the illness is gone, everyone knows that we can, through consistent exercise, regain our normal strength again. That's just part of culture. If, however, our outlook on life has become negative because of experiencing a period of difficult experiences, and we feel that we just can't be successful, we tend to think our state of mind is something that cannot be changed. Very interesting. Again, that's just part of culture. We take physical illness recovery for granted, but we take negativity as something that we're stuck in. Strange that it's not the same. However, just as we can strengthen the body through exercise and become fit again, we can also remold the subconscious mind and change its composition through the power of affirmation. The idea behind affirmations is that through the repetition of positive statements, we can improve our self-concept, make greater progress on the spiritual path, and in general, increase our magnetism to success. So we can see it's not just benefiting our spiritual life, not just benefiting our material life, it's benefiting both. And it's also can improve our self-concept if it's not a totally positive one. So it has lots of different benefits. To be successful, a positive self-concept is essential. For this, the use of affirmations can be quite helpful. And the second, somewhat challenging questions, how do affirmations influence our future? Future is created by the impressions we have put into the subconscious in the past, and those impressions we are placing there in the present. Affirmations are a deliberate remolding of the subconscious mind through repetitions of positive statements. This changes our future for the better. Our future is created by the subconscious mind. As we change it, the experiences we attract in life will change as well. Are a deliberate remolding of the subconscious mind through repetitions of positive statements. This changes our future for the better. And we have Gurudeva. Gurudeva elucidates the basis for affirmations in the Cognizant Ability resource in the back of his book, Merging with Shiva. The future is created by the impressions we have put into the subconscious in the past, and those impressions we are placing there in the present. Many impressions that go into the subconscious mind are the actions of our life and our reactions to these actions, both of which shape the experiences we have in the future in a haphazard way. So the experiences we have and how we react to them are what's shaping our future, and we haven't necessarily had the best reaction to them, shall we say. So that influences our future and limits it if the reactions weren't ideal. Affirmations, on the other hand, are carefully chosen impressions we are deliberately placing in our subconscious mind to produce specific results in the future. Affirmation is a series of positive words repeated time and time again in line with a visual concept. We all know that. Such a statement can be repeated mentally or preferably verbally many times a day. The ideal is if one feels I can't, he cannot. He is always criticizing himself and lamenting over what he cannot do. Then he can reverse this pattern and change the flow of magnetic mental force, enliven its intensity by saying orally and feeling through all the pores of his body, I can, I will, I am able to accomplish what I plan. Gurudeva calls this remolding the subconscious and gives useful insights to seekers on how to accomplish this. My devotees succeed by remolding subconscious magnetic forces. They purge the dross through writing and burning past transgressions and current problems, and then use positive affirmations. So that's the related practice, Vasanada Tantra. They both remold the subconscious mind. One point that is important to make relates to a popular New Age movement called The Secret. Their philosophy, as stated on their website, is that all individuals have the same inherent ability to change every aspect of life and turn any weakness or suffering into strength, power, unlimited abundance, health, and joy. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. There are no limits. Whatever you can dream of can be yours when you use the secret. However, in recommending the use of affirmations, Hinduism recognizes that different individuals bring different karma and dharma into this life from past lives, and therefore do not have the same ability to effectively use affirmations. So, reincarnation. We're not all the same. Some will be more successful at it than others. And we get probably the most important question. What is Gurudeva's threefold key to effectively using affirmations? This is very important to remember and utilize. when doing affirmations for them to manifest fully. 3 points to keep in mind. Gurudeva gives us a very important key to being successful in affirmations. It is when repeating the affirmation to simultaneously think, visualize, and feel what the affirmation is manifesting. So that's important. Think, visualize, and feel. Let's look more closely at these 3 aspects of affirmations with the example of I can, I will, I am able to accomplish what I plan. What does it mean to think is the question to you. Think means consciously being aware of what the affirmation means. When we are fully focused on what we are saying, we know what it means. But it is easy when you do an affirmation many times a day. After a while, your mind is thinking about something else. What am I going to eat for breakfast? Are there any chocolates left? Your mind has become divided. If we have a divided mind, if we are thinking about something else at the same time, we are not grasping the meaning. We are just repeating the affirmation out of habit. So we have to be thinking about the meaning of the affirmation and not something else. What does it mean to visualize? Visualize means to create a mental picture illustrating the affirmation. We need to picture something specific in our mind, which is an illustration, just like drawing on paper, that illustrates the concepts in the affirmation. We need to hold this visualization at the same time as we are understanding what the words mean. We can change the visualization now and then. It doesn't always have to be the same one. That again keeps it from becoming habit and makes it easier for the mind not to drift onto something else. Example of a visualization for the affirmation, I can, I will, I am able to accomplish what I plan, is to see yourself sitting at a desk planning the remodeling of a room in your home, followed by the image of doing the carpentry for the room. Question, what does it mean to feel? Feel means to have the same feeling you will have when this is consistently happening in your life. In the case of this affirmation, it is the feelings of confidence and success from being able to accomplish what you plan. You need to feel now how you will feel in the future when you are successful and confident. Maybe you don't know how it will feel. Maybe you never felt that way. So you have to make a leap. Find those feelings of confidence and success and have those present while we are doing the affirmation. This is the part that people sometimes leave out because they don't realize its importance. So we'll let you practice. Practice repeating out loud the affirmation, I can, I will, I am able to accomplish what I plan. Strive to implement the 3 keys of think, visualize, and feel. So it's a short affirmation, so why don't you repeat it 5 times? Trying to implement all 3 keys, and you probably should choose your visualization before you start. Okay, everybody's probably done. In repeating the affirmation, I can, I will, I am able to accomplish what I plan, you may find that during this exercise you find yourself feeling, I can't, I won't, I am not able. If that is the case, it shows that there is a strong negative self-concept in the subconscious mind. Therefore, great benefits to one's spiritual and material life will occur if this exercise is continued for a long period of time, which will result in the negative self-concept being replaced by a positive one. If you like, a longer affirmation can be used in your daily exercise, such as the following one. When done in the early morning, this affirmation is particularly good for setting a positive mood for the coming day. I am now open to a flow of spiritual energy in which I perceive the most worthy course of action for this day. My service, being selfless, opens new doors of supply, making available all of the tools required so that my work will be beautiful, energetic, and influential to the highest degree. Simple affirmation for financial abundance is, I will always have sufficient money to meet all my needs. So notice this uses the words needs and not the word wants. So sometimes we want more than we need. But in terms of what we really need to live a comfortable life, we can, by doing an affirmation, it really helps. So this is one we'll practice again. Practice out loud the affirmation, I always have sufficient money to meet all my needs, using the 3 keys of think, visualize, and feel. And we can do that again 5 times, and choose your visualization before you start. Here's another affirmation that is more of a purely spiritual nature that affirms our identity as an infinite and immortal spiritual being. It is most effective when repeated several times before sleep and upon awakening. I am not my body, mind, or emotions. They are but shells of the infinite energy that flows through them all. I am this energy. I am its source. However, as in the saying, be careful what you wish for, the power of affirmation needs to be used with wisdom. Affirmations remold the subconscious mind and thereby change our future. Therefore, we need to be careful that the future we are creating is one in which the responsibilities and challenges are within our abilities to successfully handle. It is wiser to choose a future that is a natural step up in life from where we are than one that is many, many steps away from us. For example, it is a natural next step for someone who is renting an apartment to purchase a modest house. However, purchasing an extravagant mansion would probably be too big a step up to successfully handle. It is important to understand the difference between affirmations and mantras. Let me share a situation to illustrate that came in on email. I am not enjoying good health since some months. I have done all my checkups, but my doctor told me that everything is perfect and normal, but I can't eat well and I'm losing weight. I am following an Ayurvedic treatment. I would be grateful if a mantra could be given by Bodhinatha for my recovering. My response was, sorry to hear about your health problems. It is positive that your doctor says everything is perfect and normal. Perhaps more exercise is needed to re-stimulate the pranas of the body, such as a long walk once a day. Good standard advice. In Gurudeva's teachings, we do not give mantras for anything but spiritual progress. For other needs, we use affirmations. You could repeat an affirmation on a daily basis, such as this simple affirmation for health. Through the grace of God, gods, and Guru, I am healthy and physically strong. A few years ago, one of our devotees asked for an affirmation to help him get off to a good start in his new business. I checked with another devotee who is a professional salesperson for his advice, and based on that advice, created the following affirmation for a business that involves sales. The example used is selling insurance. I beseech the blessings of Lord Ganesha for the wisdom to listen attentively to my clients, fully understand their insurance needs, and thus be better able to provide them the most suitable product. So when we think of salesmen, the stereotype is someone who is very aggressive in talking, but this is saying that key is to listen first. Make sure you're talking about the right subject. Listen attentively to my clients. In this way, through Lord Ganesha's grace, my clients are enriched and satisfied, and my life insurance agency is abundantly successful, providing bountiful wealth to my family and religion. For many years, as part of our pre-dawn worship, our monastery in Hawaii has repeated an affirmation. We recite it aloud together. It has been effective in reminding all the monastics of the overview of what we are doing and the importance of integrating the blessings of the deities into our everyday affairs. A few years ago, we developed a similar affirmation for families to use to repeat together every morning. First line of the affirmation uses the name of the family, so we will use Shivam as the family name to illustrate. We, the Shivam family, beseech the grace of Lord Ganesha to manifest his blessings of peace and harmony within our home and to joyfully fulfill the spiritual, social, economic, cultural, and educational goals of family life as outlined in Hindu scripture. We remain close-knit and cultivate unity by talking together about the experiences of our day, extending our affection and harmony to other families as well. We take time for training, and we value mistakes as opportunities to learn. To us, the guest is truly God. Welcomed and honored with heartfelt hospitality through our thoughtfulness, care, and compassion, we allow an abundance of gold to accumulate within our home. We give generously of our income and our time to further our religion. We are filled and thrilled with the cosmic energy, creatively alive and in tune with the universe. Pretty long one, but you get the idea. You could do a shorter one, but we're trying to integrate. So we're integrating the blessings of God and gods into our daily life, affirming our goals. Topic related to affirmations is dealing with worry. A worry is a reason chakra problem. We're kind of stuck thinking about the same thing over and over again. To rid ourselves of worry about a general situation, such as a worry about the world running out of oil, the affirmation, "I'm all right now," is a good one. For specific situations in your life, a more specific affirmation is appropriate. For example, you were recently laid off from work, thus you regularly worry about finding a new job. When you find yourself worrying about finding a job, switch instead to a positive visualization of yourself being hired. Develop an affirmation that utilizes the same visualization and repeat it every day as well. For example, I have a new job as an accountant for an excellent company. In conclusion, through repeating positive statements, you can improve your self-concept, make greater progress on the spiritual path, and in general increase your magnetism to success, following the threefold keys to think about the meeting, create a visualization for this meeting, and feel how you will feel when this is consistently happening in your life. Well, that's the topic there. That last example about the job was a lady who met with me here. It was right after the financial crisis of 2008, and her son was in financial services in Singapore and had lost his job, and she was worried about it. So she's sending thoughts of worry toward him. So I explained, no, you don't want to do that. You want to have a positive visualization. Thoughts of worry actually reach the son and inhibit his doing well if they're being done a lot, whereas thoughts of a positive visualization reach the son and help him do better. So no benefit from worrying. Oh, we're moving on to personal testimonies. Spiritual but not religious, religious but not spiritual, spiritual and religious types of statements. This is Anish Bhairavasundaram, written in 2013, at which time he was age 17. A high school senior with interests in biology, drama, and philosophy. He wrote an article entitled Guide Our Youth, and just out of curiosity, since that was such a long time ago, found his Facebook page. That's what he looks like today, age 25, working at Boston Scientific. He's also the son of the priest at the Boston Sri Kalikamba Shiva Temple, Shivacharya Sri Bhairavji. Shivacharya Sri Bhairavji, just short for Bhairavasundaram. And for those of you who are familiar with Sambhamurti Shivacharya, the late Sambhamurti Shivacharya, his father is married to Sambhamurti Shivacharya, is one of Sambhamurti Shivacharya's daughters. So, and Bhairavasundaram helped with the what's called the Pancha Silanyasa ceremony for Eravan Temple. That's before you pour the foundation, you put bricks, make a brick pit, put gold in it, etc. So we had Sambhamurti Shivacharya here, and Bhairavasundaram was assisting him. So he's tied into Eravan Temple, the Kalikamba, that's the temple in Chennai that is a family temple still. Oh, the subtitle, title, Guide Our Youth. Subtitle, for the sake of our religion's future, we must teach children the meaning behind our rituals. So this is 8 years later, it's still big need. There's not enough going on about teaching children the meaning behind the rituals. I was born in the United States in Ashland, Massachusetts, home of the Sri Lakshmi Temple. That's where his father started before he started his own temple. I lived with my family in one of the priest houses on the temple grounds. Since birth, I've been surrounded by Hinduism, its culture, and its festivals. I didn't even learn English until after first grade. Provided with a home, a place to play, and a place to worship, I had never needed to leave the temple grounds. It nurtured my spirit and my family life, but left me completely unaware of American culture and society. At 5, I received my sacred thread in the Upanayanam ceremony, and since then have been consistent in doing my Sandhya Vandanam prayers 3 times a day. Knowing it to be important, I have always been proud of my thread. But at first this pride had no backing. During my school gym class, friends would ask me what my thread was. I was embarrassed because I had no answer to what it meant or why it was significant. From this very young age, I began to question why many of our rituals are performed. I asked many people, and most said they follow what their parents did without understanding why. In American society, blind faith is looked down upon, and I soon became increasingly embarrassed of all the things that I didn't know. I felt that performing these rituals without understanding them was pure blind faith. As time went on, more and more questions surfaced, and my faith began to waver. Thankfully, with the help of my father and my spiritual guru, Abhaya Ashtana, I learned that everything in Hinduism has a reason. I learned why we bathe the deity and what my sacred thread means. My father's busy life as a priest occasionally limited my religious education, but thankfully the temple environment still answered many questions. One program I participated in was called Bala Vidya Mandir. Much of what I learned made me proud to be a Hindu, despite the many widespread Western misconceptions. One of these misconceptions is even taught in schools where Hinduism is presented as a purely polytheistic religion. Many, including Hindus, do not know the truth and believe the many inaccuracies. So as we pointed out, if a religion is polytheistic, it's considered primitive. So that's another way of criticizing Hinduism as something that's primitive versus other religions which are monotheistic. I'm sure that many Hindu children leave their traditions because of their community's lack of awareness. From a young age, Hindu children in America learned of many other religions, such as Christianity and Islam, but not their own. It is common today for parents to take their children to temple festivals, and rather than recognizing the temple murtis or explaining anything about the occasion, they just socialize and leave their children clueless. Many parents were raised in a strong religious culture, but the children who grow up here in the West are left in the dark. If this perpetuation of ignorance continues, Hinduism will become a religion of little else but meaningless ritual. Thankfully, there are temple programs that strive to teach Hindu children about their traditions and customs and clarify misconceptions. I grew up facing the same cultural struggles felt by other Hindu American youth, or even more. But despite these challenges, I found a way to learn the deeper truths about our religion through many programs and people. I wish to see more Hindus taking an active role in serving their community. I wish to see the elders of the community, like our priests, teaching the younger generation about our Sanatana Dharma. I know firsthand the busy life of a priest and how difficult it is to find time, but if my experience has taught me anything, it is imperative that our priests and religious leaders guide our youth. Reminds me of Gurudeva's statement, you only have one duty to do, which is to pass on Hinduism to the next generation. So, very important duty, and I think he wrote very nicely for age 17. Oh.